welcome to the channel. This is a new venture for me. I'm back watching cars on YouTube being repaired during the first lockdown, kind of really inspired me to sort of start my own channel. We work locally with someone who's got their own channel who does like vehicle repairs, so I'll ping his details in the information below. But I really wanted to start doing something myself. Starting with the Fiat 500, I said to myself I would start with a category N car, so that's a N repairable non-structural, but a Fiat 500 came up available. I got it for a good price and I'm really happy with what's arrived. There's a little bit more work there involved than what I thought, but I'm going to kind of share the journey with you. This is the first car I've done. I'm going to learn loads of stuff. This is going to be a massive learning curve for me, and ultimately I'm going to make mistakes. I'm not completely unsavvy when it comes to doing like vehicle repair and things like that. I own my own detailing business and I've been running that for the last sort of 5 or 6 years, so we really know how to perfect a car. But now I want to get into the stage where I can actually take something that's been damaged, fix it, make it usable, and make it useful for somebody else to carry on using into the future. So let's start the video. So this is the first look of the car. It's just arrived on the back of the transporter. So I'm only going off the Copart pictures up until now, so now we can properly have a walk around it. We'll get it off. I knew about this bit of damage here on the rear quarter. Main part of the damage is here, so this is a category S, so that's structural repairable. I've already started making a shopping list of all of the different parts I need to get. Obviously bumper, bonnet, wing. We'll probably change out the wheels, put some alloys on there, make it a bit more presentable, new wing mirror. One thing I didn't notice in the images online was that the windscreen's got a crack in it, which is a bit of a shame, but we've got a really good local company where we can get that swapped out and replaced. So let's get off the transporter. There's some damage down there. A lot of the parts appear to be bolt on, bolt off, so we'll see what we've got to work with. And so starts a new chapter of rebuilding accident damaged cars. So I got the car off the trailer. That wheel is trash, so I've got an air leak coming through there. You can hear that. And obviously there's a bit of a knock to that wheel, so we'll have to get that off and find out what's going on behind it. So main bits of good news, that chassis leg is undamaged, and that the main bulk of the damage is just here on this top bit, so we'll have to get that jigged out then to fit the new wing. Car does run and drive apparently, but we haven't got any power to the battery, so we're going to have to get that on a jump start or charge it. So you can see where the headlight's been pushed all the way back through. There's like remnants of it here in the back, but headlights aren't expensive. I've been looking online, they're about £30. The one difficult thing was because it was so dirty, you can't properly see any additional damage. I mean, that I could see quite clearly in the photos, and when we take it for the front end to be kind of pulled and straightened, we'll get that pulled out as well. But that's only sort of like a dent repair. There's no major damage behind that. Let's say wheel arch is absolutely fine, other than being full of mud. And I said this wheel arch liner, that's definitely had it, so we need to do a new one of those. Fog light, or the lower driving light, has been pushed in. That's all completely loose. The grill, centre grill, looks intact. So there's an impact to the bar there, so we'll have to make sure the radiator's not damaged in any bad way. It's not actually been losing any water, there's still coolant in there. And this bit here, this frame that goes all the way around, is just one piece. And again, about I think they're about 70 quid. So let's get it some power to it and see if we can get it started before we do anything else. If it doesn't run, then this becomes a whole different nightmare. So Fiat's been on charge now for about 10-15 minutes. CTEC's showing it's taking a charge and there's nothing wrong with the battery. So let's see if it starts. Check daytime running lights for front fog light. Oh, I wonder what could be wrong with those. So first thing I want to do is get this wheel off. You can't really tell, but when you move it, it's wobbling at a fair angle. So I can only guess that it's had a nasty knock and it might have actually buckled or damaged the wheel, but I want to check everything behind it and make sure that there's no components that are damaged, because at the moment we're building our shopping list of everything we need to replace. So, I don't know if you can just see, but there are some loose fragments of what looks to be part of the top mount, just sat up here. And if we look up there, I'm guessing that's where they've come from. And I'm going to guess that it's the actual top mount that's the problem. Can't see any major damage to any of the components around here. So I think we'll have to take the guess that it is actually the top mount. I will put the spare wheel on and see if it rolls any better. So that one is really battered, and it doesn't actually sit flat on the ground either. So let's get the spare on and see how we go from there. We are battling with the rain at the moment, which is not great, and see how we go from that. So spare wheel is on. It's actually sitting nice and straight in comparison to the other wheel. When we did roll the spare, the wheel that was originally on there, it did have a bit of a wobble on it just while it was being rolled off the car. So I'm hoping it's that's the main bit of damage. So we'll just roll it forwards a couple of times and see if that's any better. Excellent, so that appears to have cured the wobble, so we know it's the actual wheel, which is fine because I'm going to get some alloy wheels for this anyway. I could replace the wheel trims and just get another spare steel wheel to keep costs down, but I want to kind of uplift the car a little bit if I can, and try and make it a bit more resellable once it's all repaired. On to the next bit. Right, so next step, now the wheel's been swapped over with the spare, is we need to start the strip down. I'm going to leave the bonnet on, mainly due to the fact that it's going to give it some protection because the car's going to have to sit outside. So I think we'll start off with getting the front bumper off. Any little components, anything that I find, like parts of the headlight, bulbs, anything like that, I'm just going to stick in a box, because the one key thing I don't want to do is get halfway through rebuilding the car and find I need some silly little bracket or a screw or something that's going to be coming useful later. So yeah, let's carry on, get the strip down done, and see what condition the slam panel and everything is out behind the bumper. So as you can see, bumper was relatively easy to come off, mainly due to the fact that most of the clips and the screws and everything that was holding it in place are broken. And now we can get a proper look. So front slam panel, the actual impact bar behind the reinforcement bar, sorry, behind the bumper, looks to be absolutely fine, no damage to it whatsoever. So the bit that I did anticipate would be fairly heavily damaged is the what they call the slam panel. So this section of metal here that goes all the way around, that's actually one piece. This is an additional part, that's like the lower sort of impact part. So we'll get that unbolted and then have a look at what the radiator condition is, but it looks like it missed it. So I don't think I've got anything to worry about mechanically wise, because the engine runs fine, it's still got coolant in it. I'd say it's just literally all that little crack at the bottom there, but it's not, it's only a small piece of plastic that's broken. It's not actually damaged any of the radiator itself. So we'll whip this headlight out, and then once we've stripped the front end down, we're going to work on the wing and get that off as well.
There we go, so that's the lower impact bar, fairly mangled. So the radiator seems to be absolutely fine. I said the only bit was that little bit of plastic. It is pushed in a little bit because the mounting points for the radiator at the bottom there and there have been pulled back when that bottom bar is dented in, but we're going to replace that part anyway. So next thing to do, get the headlights out, get the other. I'm going to actually leave this bar in place for the moment because it will give it a bit more support on the structure. Oh, the other thing I forgot to mention, the washer jet reservoir is also fine, not cracked, no holes in it, so we can avoid having to replace that. Wheel arch liners on both sides are going to need replacing, and yeah, I need to start shopping for some parts. So we've got the front lower reinforcement bar off. The next thing to get out is what's left of the headlight, and I don't know what's holding it in, but not a lot. So there's one bolt, I think, still holding it. The top mount for it here, the headlight is smashed, and as you can see, everything else is loose. Get the bulb out, and just in case that still works, we might need that. Remains of one very damaged headlight. So I think the next thing I'm going to tackle is trying to take the wing off. Looks like most of the bolts are accessible. This one's at a bit of a tricky angle, which shouldn't be a problem. Just holding it in there. And then we've got another bolt up here that needs to come off. And I believe there's a couple inside the door shut as well. So let's tackle that next. So I finally got it off. It wasn't as easy as I thought it was going to be. There was a bolt up here, as you can see, this kind of sealant that they put over the top is completely covering it, so to chip away at that with a chisel. Wasn't too fussed about damaging the wing because obviously it's going to be replaced anyway. And now we can have a proper look at what's left. Okay, that brings us to the end of the current episode. Good news, I just had the car assessed by a body shop and they say that the damage on the front just here is not a problem at all. That can all be repaired. Get some parts ordered from Fiat, so we're all using genuine parts, and then I say as soon as that's done we'll get the car back. It's probably going to be a couple of weeks before the body shop can actually get the car in, but in that time I've got time to then get the new bumper, bonnet and all the other parts which we need to bolt back on as soon as the main structure has been repaired. And yeah, thanks again for watching this episode. Please click the subscribe button at the bottom of the page and stay tuned for the next episode. Thanks very much. Bye.